Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Being Human Now show. I'm your host, Jennifer Locksmith, and today we have a very special guest, Arla Collett Williams. She is known for speaking about her close relationship with the people, which has lasted 70 years now. She was featured recently on A Flash of Beauty, Bigfoot Revealed. She has also written two books, My Life with the Hairy People and Respecting the Water. In 2020, Arla was asked to begin reaching out by the Star People, which is a new chapter that's begun on her journey. That's what she's here to talk about today. And there may seem to be a lot of darkness right now in this world, but Arla is here to let us know that there are forces of light at work. And I also want to say you have a YouTube channel that you just started
I
back up.
do. Yeah,
All you have to do is, sorry, go ahead.
it's just Arla Williams. Look that up
Yeah.
and you'll find it.
And I would highly recommend it because literally, thank you so much, Arla, because it's like a verbal hug from you
Oh,
just
well,
watching
thank
your
you.
videos. Thank
Thank
you. And it's
you.
just a magical breath of fresh air. So thank you so much for letting us into your world.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you. So, my first question is, we're here to talk about the star people.
Hmm.
So, who are they, Arla?
Um, well, basically, there are relatives. They have been here on Earth for a very, very, very long time. Um, and they're here to help humanity. And if you go into indigenous cultures and look at things, many of them talk about the Star Nation, and that is our relative. And so, for me, it's always been that way because I've always known about them from the time I was a little girl.
Mhm.
So it's really nothing new for me, but the level that I'm to be sharing about them now has definitely grown and changed. And so now they have shared things with me that I'm beginning to share with everyone. I've always shared and talked about them in different interviews and things that I've done,
Mhm.
but not to this level, I guess I would have to say.
Mhm.
But yeah,
So it's
in
time. Time
yes,
has
yeah,
come.
yeah. In 2020, I had come back to my cabin. Um, I had been in a really bad accident in June of 2019,
Mhm.
and they didn't even know if I was going to live or save a leg or whatever, but I did.
Oh my gosh.
And it was about a year before I was physically able to come back to my cabin. And on my cabin, I had electricity and heat, but I didn't have running water in it. I did have water catchment that I could utilize, but you had to step up to even get into the cabin. And then the bed was in the loft.
Oh
And
my
that
gosh.
was like climbing up stairs to get to the
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
So in 2020, May of 2020, I felt like I was able to be there uh, again.
Mhm.
And so what I did was every morning I would get up and get my coffee and I would go outside and I would light the fire outside. And so I've worked with Grandpa Fire for many, many, many years. And it was so soothing for me every morning to have that fire and that conversation with him. And I knew some about light language. I knew what it was.
Mhm.
But what Grandpa Fire began to show me was light language within the fire. And it was literally written out across the fire.
Yes.
And I have different photos of different times that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it,
You
I
said
can't say
sometimes
it. Do
you said
what?
sometimes it can look like Sanskrit, I think you said.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Cuneiform, Sanskrit, it's symbols basically,
Mm-hmm.
which our alphabet is symbols too, but
Yeah.
this is on a level of symbols that most people couldn't read.
Yeah.
So that started. And at that point, I just kind of sat with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is happening. Okay. This is part of my healing that's going to happen while I'm here at the
Mm-hmm.
cabin. And then one morning, I'd got up and I'd got my fire going, and I decided I would walk over towards where I was planning on putting a small garden. And as I walked to that area, there was a young pine tree there. I've watched it from the time it came up. It wasn't huge, but it wasn't a tiny pine either. And I noticed it was all lit up. It was just like there was this misty light that just was all around this pine tree. And so I walked over and I looked at it, and a star person said to me, "I'm here. I'm going to help you." And at that point, there wasn't a big conversation,
Mm-hmm.
but it felt good.
Was it telepathic or
Yes, it was
oh,
telepathic.
okay.
And so I just accepted it. I stood there, and then I turned around, I sat down, and I just watched, and then it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna help me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be helped.
Yes.
And what in my mind, it was that tree was at what would be the northwest corner of that garden.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, he's going to help me get back in touch with my healing and teach me more things about what I'm doing with my garden. And that was what was in my mind at that time.
You're in for a whole nother thing.
Yes, I'm planting seeds, but just of a different
Yeah.
kind. So at that point, I began to hear others who
Mm-hmm.
were there voicing that
Mm-hmm.
they were going to help me.
Now, you said, I remember you saying when we spoke earlier, and you said the pine tree introduction was the Arcturians,
Yes, it
because
was.
you're
It
in
was an
touch with
Arcturian.
three groups, I think, right? You said.
I have actually had personal communication with three different,
Hmm.
but there are others that are
Yeah.
helping.
Yeah. Well, you said the Bigfoot people are in the category of star people,
Oh,
right?
they are. They are. They
Yeah.
came from the stars to the earth too, a very, very long time ago. And actually, the star people and Kashima's people have watched the earth from the time she was being birthed, knowing that they were going to help on earth at some time. So when the earth was birthed to a certain point,
Hmm.
they came
No.
and they were here. You hear
Yeah.
a lot of people say, oh, they were brought here to do labor. No, they weren't. They
Hmm.
were brought here to help us and
Hmm.
to guide us. But they loved the earth. They loved this 3D existence of trees and grass
Hmm.
and all the things that are here on the earth. They loved that.
Yeah. Now, Kashima is your teacher. I think we should,
Yeah.
just in
He
case people
is
listening don't know.
Yeah, he is what's classified or called an ancient, which the ancients came from a planet called Shamuna, which is a translation is the place of two moons. And exactly where that is, I have no memory of, and I just haven't felt the need to ask, exactly
Yeah.
where it is. I know I've been there, and so, I'm fine. I'm fine
Hmm.
with that.
Okay.
So, as we're going through this, and my healing is coming around, I'm able physically to do more things. I began to see light language in the sky as well. I began to see light language on the earth, and I began to see light language in the water. Now, I didn't know at that time how significant that was.
Hmm.
But as I healed and I began to see those things, some of them I've documented, it was just they were talking more and more to me.
And could you read it, or was it a subconscious download kind of?
It's a heart, totally a heart thing, that higher self. When you connect with your higher self, the meaning is there already within you, like a download. It's just something that you feel. But one of the things about them, they were earth centered. I felt that connection to the air. I felt that connection to the water, to the earth, and to the fire. And still yet, it did not occur to me as to what they would tell me. And so as the years went on, we had more conversations about what they were doing.
Mhm.
They have been teaching me about the things. Different ones are over different things. And so what they told me was they are here helping the Earth Mother, and they help with the elements. Now, what they told me was that they are here to support the five elements, and earth, air, fire, and water, and space, which is not like outer space or anything else. It's the totality of everything.
Mhm. You said
And
it's spirit. It could be equated with spirit, you
yeah,
said?
some people might equate it to spirit, but it is that energy that encompasses the totality. And some would call that spirit,
Okay.
but that's what they're doing. So at that point, I was like, well, that's why I saw this light language in all of these elements.
Yeah.
That's why um, you didn't tell me. You just let me come to that myself, and then, told me kind of what they were doing.
Sorry, there's a jumping spider on my microphone. And I just don't want
Okay.
to. That's what I'm
Uh,
doing right now. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't want to eat him by accident.
no.
Okay,
So
so
the
I have a
different
question real
one.
quick about the elements
Okay,
that popped in
sure.
my head. So a lot of people, does this relate in any way to what many people call the elemental beings, say like the sprites or the ents or like the fair people, or is this something different?
Everybody works together. We
Okay.
are one. We are not separate from anything. We are all a part of each other. So the elementals, you could say fairies, you could say all of the beings that exist here to help us are a part of this as well.
I love
But
that.
there
Yeah.
are those star people that are specific to what it is that they're doing. The Arcturians' name is Ezmael, Ezzmael, Ezmael.
Okay.
Now, one of the things with the star people, they don't necessarily deal with names. Names are an indulgence for humans. And so when they give us their name, it's for us.
Okay.
It's not like they have to have that to know who the other one is. They don't need a name or anything else. Or even if they were having a conversation with one of theirs, and then they might be having this conversation about another one, they
Hmm.
would not have to use the name to say this is what I'm talking about.
Okay, so they're just
So that,
connected.
yeah,
Um,
that's
what
it.
what do the Arcturians look like, or have you seen them physically?
Yes. Um, some of them are very tall. Um, I I feel a very balanced energy in
Hmm.
them, feminine and masculine. But what I feel overwhelmingly, and I've seen a lot of people's drawings and things of Arcturians. Um, some are different. Um, gosh, if I were going to say, it would be some heavenly, a light being,
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
And yes, they do have form or can take form. They don't have to have form.
Okay.
Uh, the compassion that they have, the love. Um, it's just this total peace that
Hmm.
you get from them. And it's sometimes it's almost overwhelming. Now,
Hmm.
I'd worked with the Arcturians several years ago with some things that I was doing. And it was the same then. It was and very, very high vibrationally. I've never asked them what level are you at vibrationally. That I hear a lot of people say,
Yeah.
well, they're like nine, you
Wow.
know, uh 90. And so another thing about the Arcturians is they don't need ships to
Oh, really?
travel in. No. And sometimes I've not seen this particular thing, but I've heard other people describe that they are in like a glowing orange giant orb
Oh my gosh.
that they can uh, transit that away as well. They do use ships for particular reasons, but they do not have to.
Wow. Okay. So could these be some of the orbs? I don't want to get too, could these be some of the orange orbs people are seeing in the woods, or is this just a way
It
certain
it
beings travel?
it could be.
Okay.
And orbs are a change in your vibrations to a different thing so that you can travel.
Okay. Very
So,
interesting.
they all, so if an orb is someone, something, and it doesn't make any difference what,
Mm-hmm.
they have totally changed the vibration of that physical body
Mm-hmm.
into that.
Okay. The spider's back. Okay. Um, okay, so what was, sorry, I think I interrupted your story. You were like on a roll
Yes.
with your story telling us, and I'm asking questions, interrupting you.
It's fine. You ask questions anytime you think to
Okay. So
ask
you,
them. It's not a problem. And
so
and
you,
I'll lose train of thought too.
I
So
do.
it'll be
So I think
it'll be
our,
all right.
so
But
you found
uh,
out that they were working with all the elements and you started seeing the light language within all the elements, then it made sense to you
yeah,
that,
yeah, it did.
okay,
And then of course they started coming to me and showing themselves to me in a form.
okay,
And one of the others that I've seen is Lyran.
okay.
And his name that I use is Ishtawar. And
Ishtar,
the
okay.
last is Waur. not WAR, but Ishtar.
Okay.
And he is the one who takes me to the ships
Okay.
when I go to the ships.
Okay.
So he's not the leader, but he kind of steps out to help guide me. And if there would be a reason for me to go to a ship, then he would be the one. They don't need anyone to take me to the ships, but this is how this has been set up.
Okay. And the Lyrans are the cat people, correct?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
they are from Lyra.
Can
Yep.
you describe what he looks like?
Oh my gosh, he's I wish I could draw,
Me
but
too. Wouldn't it be nice?
he does have some uh cat looking in his face,
Okay.
but it's not totally fully cat-like.
Hmm.
When he came the first time and I saw him, it made me think of a Roman soldier.
Oh, wow.
In
Okay.
other words, the what he had on at that
Okay.
time. Not
Okay.
near like a Roman soldier, but similar to that.
So was he wearing a helmet or?
No, he did not have a helmet on,
Okay.
but his clothing was very similar to that.
Okay. And are their noses more like cat noses or are they more like,
Um, Somewhere in between his
okay.
is.
And they have whiskers?
No, he did not
Okay.
have whiskers
Okay.
at all.
Just trying
Not that I noticed at
okay.
all.
I'm just trying to visualize. Okay. So then what was your experience? What has been your experience with the Lyrans?
I've really not had much experience with the Lyrans, although several years ago, I was working at a retreat center, and a woman had come that was from Lyra.
Oh my gosh.
And we talked a little bit, not extensively, but she was a star seed. She looked human, but she was very lithe. And just the way she moved was kind of cat-like, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly that's all I've had to do with them on a personal level.
Okay.
And actually, the Arcturians are the ones that I've had most of a personal relationship with in past years and also now. Um,
Okay. Now you did
the
mention that the star people walk among us.
Oh
If
yeah, yeah.
if they do they all know they're star people, or are there some people that are star seeds or and they don't know it?
Well, kind of both, I guess. We have some who have taken on human form that are here and have been here a very long time,
Hmm.
walking with humanity. Um, and then there are some who are waking up. And I
Okay.
talk to people almost every day that, they have this revelation, I'm a star seed. The truth is, we all are at some point
Yeah.
or another. We all came from somewhere else and were birthed into this earth.
Okay.
But the star seeds are have retained more of that star being within them, and so they would gravitate more to it.
Okay.
One of the things that I've seen through the years is there are a lot of people that love the stars and
Hmm.
love to sit out and just look up at the stars, and that is like a little message to us. Why do we love these
Yeah.
stars, why are we so enamored with all of this?
Hmm.
And a lot of that is that people do have a remembrance. They may not know they have a remembrance,
Yeah.
but many people are
Yeah,
now
like attracts
remembering.
like.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it does. So through the years, I've worked with people who felt like they had been abducted and it
Hmm.
wasn't a good thing. And
Hmm.
um, all of the people that I've worked with, and I have not worked with everybody, but the ones that I've worked with
Hmm.
came to the understanding that that wasn't a bad thing. There were things they didn't understand
Hmm.
about it. And one of the things humans do not like is to think they are being held against their will.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so things come out, in a different way.
Um, but you said what's really going on is when people are being abducted, that it is, they're kind of just checking us out. It's not a negative thing.
No, no, it's not. It's a positive thing.
Yeah.
Um,
This,
and
oh,
so,
DNA and energy bodies. They're assessing our DNA and our energy bodies, you said?
yes, they are. And a lot of um our organs and things too are starting to change.
Hmm.
Things affect us more now. Um, and so, yes, we're being watched.
Hmm.
Um, and to me, that says there's a lot of care about, what's going on with
Hmm.
us.
Yes.
And I know in some cases that when people have been taken, that they would wake up during that time and the
Hmm.
confusion of, why am I here? Who has me? That's scary,
Yeah, that is.
and you don't understand. Nobody told you we're going to come and get you. And most people would say, oh, no, you're not anyway. So it would be very, uh, very scary. So
Hmm.
I don't negate the fear
Yeah.
and things that people had in it, because that's a real feeling. And
Hmm.
most of the time, fear comes from misunderstanding something.
Yes. That's great that you're working with people and you're letting people know what's really going on because it's just, I think it's time for people to start understanding and not fearing.
Yes. Yeah. When
Um,
fear steps in, everything stops.
mm, yeah,
Anything that you're going to understand stops because you're in that fear through what you think is going on.
yeah. What is that quote? We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And that happens a lot. And with the star people, for sure, because some of them do look more like us.
Hmm.
Um, some of them don't at all,
Yeah.
so and that's another learning of accepting something that totally doesn't look like us and doesn't act like us. And
Yeah.
so, we have to begin to understand, why is there this difference when basically, we're the same.
Hmm. Um, and then, well, you said you also are having interactions with the moon water people.
Yes. The moon water people. I do have someone uh, trying to draw her. So
Awesome.
hopefully that will come out. So just so
Yeah.
people can see,
Yeah.
how she's shown herself to
Yes.
me.
Hmm.
Um, but yes, what the moon water people do is at the birth of a planet or a moon, they are there assisting the energy of the waters.
Okay.
And they also work on moons and planets when there is an energetic imbalance
Hmm.
in the water. with things that are going on. And so they come, and there are things that they do energetically to help the Earth Mother and the waters. And one of the things that she talked to me about was that all of the waters on the earth are in connection to each other. It doesn't matter that there is a continent or a mass of land or whatever, they all are energetically connected. And even through the earth, like if you took the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean through the United States or whatever, there are connections running underground that that we don't think about them being there. Even some rock holds water.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so, it's but basically that's what they're doing.
Okay. Well, we really need it with all this poisoning. And so are they clearing out all these? Because a lot of people talk about the real issue we're having with these chemicals in the water and how it's very difficult to get chemicals out. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Are they working to get the chemicals out? I'm sure they're doing numerous things with the
Yeah,
water.
yeah, they are. They, like I said, they work energetically, connecting the waters back together. And that's one thing that's being very out of balance here. I
Hmm.
mean, the mother does what she does, and
Hmm.
she's always done what she does. But when man steps in and tries to intervene, even with the disrespect of water,
Hmm.
that affects all the water.
Hmm.
If you have any kind of disrespect of anything, you are sending that energy out.
Hmm.
And so that energy is felt.
Yes. And everything's connected.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to think. So a lot of people are saying, and we talked about this on the phone, that it seems very dark right now. A lot of people are very doom and gloom. They think terrible things are in our future, but there's actually really wonderful things coming in actuality. Um, and it sounds like we have a lot of help. Can you just talk about like what you foresee coming, maybe what you've been told's coming, what help we have and just in general and um
I know at any given moment something can change, and
mhm,
it can change either way.
mhm,
So what we do is in the moment,
mhm,
every moment, is to be respectful. Kashima had told me many years ago, humans don't respect the air. They don't respect the water. They
mhm,
don't respect the earth. They don't respect each other. And the worst is they don't respect themselves. And when
yeah,
you are in disrespect of yourself, you are going to be disrespectful.
mhm,
And I see that, a lot.
yeah,
But he also said to me that I know the 100th monkey syndrome, where when 100 monkeys do something, then that's how it is.
yeah,
That's just a basic description. But he said things have changed. It's not about the quantity of the light workers, it's the quality of the light workers. And I see that over and over and over every day, the quality of those who are working in that light.
mhm,
Just amazed. I just get chills talking about it because I
yeah,
see it so
yeah,
much. And so that's where my energy goes. My energy goes to support that, and not to be all gloom and doom
mhm,
about what happens. I've said for years, I'm not a chicken little running around screaming, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. If
mhm,
the sky falls, I will know how to deal with it
Mm-hmm.
when that happens. And
Yes.
so I don't get into this gloom and doom
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't serve us. And Sanat Kumara, one of the ascended masters that I talk with, had given me some messages. That was one of the things he said. It's not about gloom and doom. If we go there, if we put our energy there, then we are going to manifest that. And I
Mm-hmm.
certainly don't want to do that.
No. I want everything to heal and for everything to grow to its highest potential, especially the humans.
Yes.
Are we
And
are we on our way to that, Arla, you think?
oh, yeah. I already see a lot of people who are shifting from the fourth dimension back and forth, from the third to the fourth and back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I also see some who grasp that fifth dimension, but they are staying here. And most of the time, that fourth dimension does for a light worker, it's almost like a vacation from all of the 3D stuff that we deal. And you can access that through your higher self, through meditation, through many different things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fairly easy, accessible thing. And a lot of people, don't think about that. Um,
Yeah.
one of the things that the light codes that were given to me,
Mm-hmm.
they help with that. And they had told me that even if a person has not connected with their higher self
Mm-hmm.
to bring information from those light codes, it still helps humanity
Mm-hmm.
raise their consciousness to be
Yes.
able to do that. So if someone's just watching it and not in a total negative frame of mind, but
Mm-hmm.
just open, that's accessible.
Yeah.
Those things are accessible.
Yes. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to touch on or talk about. Um, you have a were gifted, you were able to film light codes, your light
Yes,
codes video, which I
yes,
did do, and I felt different since Arla. I have felt different since I watched that.
yeah.
Thank you so much for posting that. It's a gift.
Oh,
But could you take us through how that happened, this light codes video on your Arla Williams YouTube channel?
yes. And there are two videos. There
Yeah.
is the light codes activation video, and then there is one that is an explanation, a deeper explanation of
Yes.
what that is.
And you said we should watch the explanation first before you do.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just watch the video, be
Okay.
open to what you see. The best way to watch it is if you're in the dark,
Hmm.
and if you're watching on a laptop or whatever, that it's not backlit. It all that does is help you see the lights better.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and of course, there are things that you could do before to ready yourself. And that's in the explanation
Right.
video on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Okay.
Would I have your permission to create like a playlist on this channel so people can
Sure,
access it? Obviously, I'll
sure.
say Arla
Yep.
Williams Light Codes videos, and I'll put the two as a playlist. Thank you.
And I even tell people if they're watching that and there is a particular part that speaks to them, to
Hmm.
screenshot it and
Okay.
just work with that.
Okay.
And that at the end of the video are screenshots,
Hmm.
just a few screenshots.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a little more to look at all of it. And a lot of people are telling me they're looping the video
Yeah.
and going into meditation and connecting with our higher self and just watching it over and over and
Mhm.
over.
It feels really good watching it.
Yeah.
Um, but and you said that it has something for everyone, that it's kind of whatever you're asking for or needing, you should probably meditate on that, and then that will come through for you, that it's kind of individuated to
Yes, it
whoever's
is.
watching it.
One of the things that they told me about it so that humans could grasp what this was that there are over a million codes on that 1 minute and 27 seconds. But
Oh,
each code has several codes that are attached to it.
okay.
So I would say that the codes would be infinite. It would
Hmm.
be whatever that person has set their intent
Hmm.
for to know.
Okay.
And, I tell people, I use healing as an example. If
Hmm.
you're working in a healing modality, or if you're wanting to start working in a healing modality, you can set your intention for that,
Hmm.
and you will be given information about either one of those.
Okay.
And you may not know immediately. It will depend on how connected you are to your higher self
Okay.
as to whether you know it at that moment, or if it's downloaded into your cells. And what they've told me is it goes into every cell of our body. So
Okay.
it is there, kind of like a library, uh, for you to just access within yourself without looking at the light codes. But
Okay.
it does help if you're not hearing to go back and watch the light codes again.
Okay. And you said it's best to do it right before bed?
It's really good to do it right before bed because you're calming at that time, and uh, we assimilate things so much better as we're going to bed and then on into the dream time, when things can come to us a little easier sometimes. I mean, you could do it when you first got up in the morning. You could do it anytime,
Okay.
but if you have a specific intent, it's I found that it works really well before you go to bed.
Awesome. Awesome. So you've told us what they are. Can you just give us kind of the backstory as to how you were able to film them? What was the situation?
Well, I have a meditation platform, and
Hmm.
there's so much more to this story, but it would take
I'm sure.
hours to try to get it all down here. But I have a platform where I go and I sit in my woods, I meditate, I just sit there at night. Sometimes I sleep on it in
Wow.
the woods. And it was the day before, I think, the full moon. And the energies, I was laying there. Oh my gosh. They were very, very strong. And I was just trying to be present and accept that, and not fight it.
Yeah.
And so it was just phenomenal.
Were you buzzing or
Oh yeah. Yeah.
were
And
you?
I felt like I was actually moving
Mhm.
as well. Um, so I had said, help me to uh, align myself with this energy,
Mhm.
and I did, and it was still, pretty pretty intense, but it was okay.
Mhm.
So the next night, I'm sitting there on the platform. Um, it's the full moon. Full moon's not out yet,
Mhm.
and I see this light being coming down the trail, and I look and it's like a pillar of light. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I see. And it would come closer to me. And when it did, the energy would become stronger. And then they would back away from me. And then they would come back again. And then they would back away from me. And then it was just gone. And I was so thankful.
Mm-hmm.
I was so thankful for
Yeah.
that happening. And so that was the night after the full moon, actually. The full moon was when I was on the energy roller coaster, literally, just like waves going up and down and up and down and up and down. And I asked them uh, if they could help me.
Okay. Now, when you say them, who are you talking about?
It's a universal thing,
Okay.
but I'm working with those star beings now, and their energy is very much there, but it's a universal
Okay.
energy, basically.
Okay.
And so I say, I'm having trouble here. I'm afraid I'm going to get sick.
Oh, geez.
And immediately I was asleep, and I didn't wake up till the next morning.
Okay.
So the next night was when the light being came.
Mm-hmm.
And, when they poofed, um, I was just so thankful. I
Yeah.
was just exclaiming how wonderful it was. I am so thankful that you come. I'm sending you so much love. And, I was nearly bursting with that gratitude and love and connection. And after she, and I call her she because it felt feminine. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to label it as she, but I've caught myself
Yeah.
calling the light being she.
Yeah.
Um, but there was no light. It was pitch black that night, and there
Mm-hmm.
was no other light. Um, and then, as I'm gushing, as I've said, I see these lights
Mm-hmm.
and I look at them and I'm just in awe. I'm actually seeing this. And
Yeah.
I ask, can I video this? And I'm told yes. Well, what I understood later was this was a setup. I was I was placed there to take this video,
Wow.
but I always am respectful of anything, and always say,
Yeah.
may I take a video, or may I take a photo, or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was told yes, and I began to video. When I clicked on my phone to video, I couldn't see it in my phone. And so I looked around and I could still see it. And then when I looked back in my phone, it was there. And
Okay.
through that video, you are hearing me um, talking, thanking them, talking about the energy, that I'm so glad that they're there. And then I just felt like I should turn it off. So I turned it off and watched it for just a little bit after that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that the video, of course, that's on my YouTube channel
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have me gushing. We have music with the video.
Mm-hmm. It's just silent. No, it's you have music with it.
Mhm.
Yes.
And the music that's with it was wrote for it. Um, I was in thinking about, how do I share this?
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to hear me talking and gushing and, everything else. I just felt like that would take away from the codes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was told that there was to be music for this, and I was actually told who to ask
Oh,
to do
wow.
this. And so I talked with her,
Mm-hmm.
and she hadn't written in a while. And so her name is Lynn Hassler. And she said, well, I'll try. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to watch the video and then whatever you come up with, you know, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, I'll do this. I might not get to it today or tomorrow, but I will get to it. And she kept saying, now, if you don't like it, if it's not right, you won't offend me at
Mm-hmm.
all if you tell me that. So, we agreed. Okay. So I think that evening she started on it and had it done the next day.
Wow. It's
And
wow.
she sent it to me, and I didn't listen to it until I put myself in space and I was laying down and I listened to it, and immediately the star people were around me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew at that point that that was the music that was supposed to be with
Yeah.
the codes.
Were the star people was it the Arcturians and the Lyrans were with you at that moment? Or
All
are
of
they
them were, yeah, all of them, everything. It felt like everything was around me,
okay.
but visibly, I saw uh, the ones that are working here. And Sanat Kumara is part of this as well as Kashima, and another, I would call her a grandmother ancient,
Okay.
is here as well.
Okay.
Um, and so then a friend of mine, because I am so non-tech, she was like, I will put it together for you.
Yeah.
I'd ask, she had helped on another video for me.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, no, I want to do this.
Oh, yeah. You
And
have a whole
so,
team helping you,
yeah, oh, definitely. This is
like
not just a
physically and
Arla thing,
yeah.
this is a whole team. So she put it together and I put it on my YouTube channel. And the funny thing about my YouTube channel is before this video came, I was being talked to about starting my YouTube channel up because I hadn't posted anything since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I don't know what all I would have to put on this channel. Um,
Yeah.
and so Barb Shoop is who did the video. She did a video of a recording I had of the Sasquatch people talking. And so that started it back up. Of course, at that time, I didn't know this was coming. So, I was just doing what I knew to do.
Yeah.
And so my channel is not a professional channel. I do not know how to edit videos or do anything like that. I don't know if I'll try to learn or if I just present,
Mhm.
me and what I'm thinking or what I'm doing or, something like that.
I think it's perfect the way it is, Arla, because people are so thirsty for real things,
Yeah.
and the truth. And I feel like you're giving that to people.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been able to present the light codes to three different groups of people. So
Mhm.
I've been actually able to go to people and present this
Wow.
and talk about it and answer questions. And it's just been phenomenal, the acceptance
Hmm.
of what this is.
Yeah. People are ready.
And
It's time.
yeah, yeah. And I speak light language and I sign light language,
Okay.
but this is a form of light language that comes from outside of me, not through me.
Okay.
And when usually, if you're speaking like language or writing like language or signing,
Mm-hmm.
it's coming through you to be manifested for others.
Okay.
This totally came from them
Mm-hmm.
and did not, the only thing that it came through me was I videoed it
Yeah.
and I am working with them. So, in a sense, it did come through me, but not actually
Right.
through me to be manifested because it manifested itself.
Mm. Let me see. Hang on. I have a question. I have all these questions written down. That's what I'm looking at. Um, so you said that light languages can also, when we spoke on the phone, um, can come, you said they can be signed, written, spoken. They can look Sumerian. They can come through humans or elements. And you also said they can come in the form of synchronicities.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
they
So
can.
that's really,
Because light language guides us
mm-hmm,
and gives us information. And it is always in a good way.
mm-hmm,
There is, unlike channeling, where when some people channel, they're giving you um, things that could happen
mm-hmm,
sometimes. Kind of like a not really a negative, but this is what this person is saying is going to happen.
mm-hmm.
But I've never seen an instance of light language where there was anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're almost up to the hour. So I guess, well, before we kind of close out, like in summation, what is your message to people, or what is, their message to people? What would they want you to say as we're kind of starting to close things down?
Yeah. I think one of the things that for humans is to realize that we all are one and to shift your paradigm about what you think this world really is. Open your mind, connect it to your heart,
Mhm.
and live your life through your heart. That's going to bring us to a place where we live our lives in that love. And it's not a love that's a human love, it passes that.
Mhm.
And to that brain and heart coherence is so special.
Mhm.
And that's where we have to go. We have to take care of this mother. We were put here to experience this mother and to experience this human life, which is not always perfect in
Mhm.
what man says is perfect.
Yeah.
So, that's just, as my grandmother said, we have to stop acting ugly.
Yeah.
When we kids would do things that weren't right, she'd say, "You kids, stop acting ugly." And so I think we all need to stop acting ugly
Yeah.
and, start doing things through our heart.
Oh, I love that. I love it. I feel it. And I think a lot of people are feeling it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people are ready for change. We're ready to do better.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
we are doing better.
Yes, I
No,
agree.
I see that. This world has changed so much in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal
Mm-hmm.
that the acceptance of things outside the box.
Yep. Because that's the truth.
Mhm.
The real world is what we've been told isn't real, but it is.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's exciting. So we are in for some beautiful, exciting times.
Yeah, I believe that. I
Me
I
too.
have no doubt of
Yeah,
that.
I feel that too, Arla. I'm excited. So I guess we've got 2 minutes or 1 minute left now. If you could just tell people where they can find you.
Okay, you can find my YouTube channel, Arla Williams. You can find me on Facebook as Arla Collett Williams. And I'm easy to find. I'm seem to be all over YouTube in various forms. So, but yeah, I'd love to have you on my YouTube to help me bring this, the
Yeah.
light codes. I can't do it by myself,
Okay.
they don't belong to me.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just mine. They are for humanity.
Mm-hmm. And you said something so lovely on the phone. You said basically like that we need to stop worrying, that the universe has the details figured out. Just relax.
Yep.
Yeah. And your story is proof of that.
Thank you.
So, yeah, definitely I would love that, Arla. Keep in touch. And
I will.
well, I'll talk to you, but thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. And keep up the good work. We need you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.